Hey there, Maria back with another video. It's 10:16 p.m. It is March 15th, and it is, I believe, oh, it is Friday evening. I don't even know what day it is. Oh my God. Man, I've just been so busy. Like each day just kind of merges into the next. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and make a video. I was doing some thinking yesterday. I was out shopping, had to get some groceries, and I took the bus yesterday. Isn't that funny? Anyway, as I was getting to the store, I was thinking about this particular meme. I had seen it many years ago, and I tried to find the meme. I don't even know if it's the same cat. I don't think it is, okay? But it was a cat with tears in his eyes. And I know that people kind of made jokes about that meme because cats don't actually cry. There are times where cats get water in their eyes or they get teary-eyed, but it has nothing to do with their emotions, okay? But cats do have emotions. Like if they're abandoned, for example, they will show some sign of sadness. Maybe they might be inactive. Maybe they may be sitting a little bit differently or whatever, but they do show signs of sadness, okay? Just about every animal shows some form of grieving, right? And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, and the reason why I was thinking about the cat picture is because I kept thinking it's because if that were true, let's just say, for example, the cat really was abandoned, because I think that was what it was used for. It was this, I don't know if you would call it a meme or something, but it was more like a story or some sort of announcement that I saw on Facebook. And it was about, they used this little picture of a cat with tears in his eyes and saying that the cat was abandoned by its owners, right? I think what the message we were trying to convey was is that the cat had emotional feelings and it didn't feel happy about being abandoned. Like I said, cats don't actually cry real tears, but I guess the intention was good. They were trying to show that cats do have emotion. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like some people get a cat or a dog or whatever, and they know that the cat is entertaining their kids, is keeping them quiet, and they find some sort of contentment with the cat there. But they might have to move or whatever, and the first thing that they let go is the animal, right? Whether that be a cat or a dog. And there's times I've heard of people driving animals out to like the middle of nowhere and abandoning them and driving off and just forgetting about it. In those cases, I do believe that the animal, if they got attached to like the kids or whatever, it's going to show some form of grieving. I do believe that that's one of the reasons why people like dogs and stuff, because they're known to be faithful, they're friends, and there's like some sort of emotional bond there. And like I said, some people don't understand that that cat or dog is capable of emotions. They do have emotions. In fact, I would say that the majority of living beings do have emotions, okay? And so when I was thinking about all this, I was thinking, of course, the main reason why I was thinking about this is because, I had mentioned in one of my videos about how um, growing up in growing up and my experiences through gang stalking and workplace mobbing, being bullied in school, of course, my family and everything, is because they don't have respect for all forms of life. And that's basically what it really boils down to. Not everybody feels sorry for animals that are abandoned, they don't have a home or whatever. They might have sympathy for a human who's going through that, like, for example, a homeless person, but they don't feel sorry for stray animals or whatever, okay? I would say big hearted people have respect for all forms of life. And I think in this situation, not everybody did. And then, of course, you're dealing with cruelty, because I would say that some of the things I was thinking about, like yesterday, and believe me, I want to make this very clear. Like, I don't cry. I don't cry. Like when I was younger, I would cry. If I see a movie sometimes and it touches my heart, I will cry. You know what I mean? I will cry. But in this situation of me, like when I was struggling with the gang stalking, I don't ever recall like breaking down and fucking crying. Okay? Mainly I was sad for myself. I was worried and I was mad more than anything else because of the suffering the anger, the injustice, all of that part of it was very devastating to me. And of course, confusion was going on too, because it's like, okay, where's the source of the problem? You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was my family. I thought they were just, I don't know, sick, because they just kept on and on and on. The whole thing went on for a very long time. I don't want to go too much into it, because that's not the purpose of this video. But the video is basically, I guess, trying to um, follow up with the other video that I made the night before about, people just not having empathy, not being able to relate or see you, as something that can have feelings. You know what I mean? I do. Of course I have feelings. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they come from a family that has like no regard for them. That's like, wow. You know what I mean? But when you think about the kind of people that they were, you don't really, you think about the things that were said, you start understanding, connecting the dots, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't miss these people, okay? But of course, I would have loved to have had a family, of course, not them, but, it would have been nice had I had a family that was, caring, supportive, and understanding and protective of me. Instead of letting the world trample all over me, I would have had people who were like supportive, like, hey, you don't do that to my sister or whatever. But unfortunately, that's just how the shit goes sometimes. Let me see. Some of the things I think that show that were blowing my mind before I became to understand, it came to understand that what this was about, like me being a clone and everything. I was really upset when I found out that my house was under surveillance when I was living over. I think I was under surveillance at my mom's house, and then also when I lived over on Adidas Court. I think at some point, I don't know exactly when that all happened, but it was like the utter disregard, and I knew a lot of people had access or the ability to hear what I was saying. And I think what bothered me so much at the time, before I knew that I was a clone, seeing myself as just a regular human, right? I kept thinking, my goodness, how could somebody have that kind of disregard for a person? Like, I know when people go home, they shut the blinds, they close themselves off because they want that privacy. It's like, I kept thinking, my gosh, these people don't realize that I have privacy, or I have the need to have privacy. Even though I'm not doing anything, like what I call exciting or hush hush or anything taboo in my house is pretty zen like. Like, it's, I'm pretty much very relaxed, very chill, pretty much do the same thing every day, okay? But still, it's my space. And then, I had people, kind of mimicking or saying things about things that were going on in my house, or kind of giving me this kind of clues that they were doing it. That right there is an utter disregard for a person. No concern whatsoever about my privacy or my life. This is what I'm assuming a lot of other clones go through, that come from families that they aren't really, just don't give a shit about them. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if I had the ability to protect somebody from something like this, I would do everything I could to do so. I would do absolutely everything I could to do so. And of course, because I was a clone, my family didn't really think, oh, well, maybe she would be embarrassed. Not that I was embarrassed. I was outraged, okay? I didn't really feel like I had anything to be embarrassed about, because like I said, I pretty much do really nothing all day. Like, I mean, I'll do stuff, but it's like, I'm not out here like partying, snorting cocaine, or anything crazy like that. Like, it would be different if I was. But still, the thing is like, it's my space. Like, you have no regard. Anyway, also, I know that I dealt with the harassment at work, and then being told things like, well, you have everything. Like, I think that, a lot of people thought that, and they think this, and I do understand why they think this, okay? They think very highly of me, even though they harass me. they feel kind of intimidated by the kind of person that I am. Okay, they do see that I'm an incredibly strong person. That is not in any way of me bragging. It's just that this is one of the reasons why they targeted me and treated me the way that they did. I think it's because, especially the kids from school and like my ex family, and of course, you know, the head honcho and all this other stuff, all going all the way down the line. The reason why is because, number one, seeing me in school as a nervous kid, getting bullied a lot, and in the workplace and everything else, I was confused and not didn't understand like why was all this happening. I had my ideas, right? But like, you know, when I came to realize, like, I would say in 2000, maybe it was probably 2010, okay, like when I was starting to like get the targeting started picking up um, at the farmer's place because because I had, as a result, it seems like as a result of me bringing my ex-husband at the time, he was my husband, but I brought him to the Christmas party. And from that point on, from December 2010 onward, okay, is when the harassment started going on over at the farmer's place. And I was like, oh my goodness, you know, what the hell? But the thing was, is that, you know, what was going on over there is that, you know, I mean, I just can't even go on and on. I mean, I could go on and on, but to me it's like, why bring up that kind of negativity? Some things that to me I think that went on over there were outright shocking, you know what I mean? And from a legal perspective, I was just blown away, and it was completely unjustified, completely insensitive to me as a human being and person. And then I got penalized for it by getting blacklisted. I can't tell you. And then here I am in 2014, 2024, talking about, you know, me coming to the realization of what this was really all about. This is not me making a complaint video or pointing fingers. I'm basically going over my emotions and the mistreatment and the foolish assumption by some people to think that I don't have feelings. You know, of course I have feelings. You know what I mean? I feel like at the time I felt the injustice. I felt angry. I felt frustrated. I felt also scared because I fully realized at that time how big of an issue this was. And I kept thinking, this is being blown up to the point of where I should have be bringing in money from all of these goddamn people because the violations were just outright, like, just absurd. Okay. This is, like I said, I'm not trying to complain. I'm going over and reviewing my feelings. So the harassment at work wasn't only just there, it was going on in other places that I was working at, everywhere. Like, I needed to be monitored. Um, and like I said, here we go again with the idea of either thinking that, like this girl was saying when we were in this little I don't know, they were always putting me in competition with somebody. So the girl over at the farmer's place was saying, oh, well, you have everything and all this other shit, right? Thing is, hang on, let me drink some water. My lips are literally sticking together. I am so thirsty. Hang on. Jeez, that's ridiculous. Oh my God, I'm so thirsty. It's crazy. Okay, anyway, she was basically saying that I have everything. And see, I wasn't aware of like celebrity soul tribes. I wasn't aware of any of that at the time. But she obviously believed that I was a smart person. She obviously knew that I had contributed a lot to that company. She obviously knew that I was a very hard worker and I meant what I said and I did my job to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? And I brought a lot to the table and I cared about my job. But the competition between this ridiculous competition that I had nothing to do with, but this is what they do. They caused a lot of friction, and it was outright It was just like outright in your face. I don't know how in the world you could deny it. Racist in the workplace, and then I ended up getting blacklisted. I was furious. I was upset. And like I said, most of all, I was scared. What's going to fucking happen to me now? And I kept thinking, how is it that all these people don't see what is going on here? How is it that people cannot obviously see that I'm the one who's getting fucked over, and people think that it's funny? It's not funny. I didn't think any of it was funny. It's terrorism is basically what it was. And from that point on, okay, sorry about that. I got a little interrupted. I accidentally touched my keyboard and ended up shutting off the recording. But anyway, from that point on, leaving that company, it was just becoming more and more terrorizing as I went to each and every job, as well as the job interviews. And I didn't deserve that. But see, like I said, when you're a clone or you're somebody that they don't like, or there's somebody they feel in competition, or they feel as though you don't have the right to make decisions for yourself, is what it's just an utter disregard for who you are as a person. And so that is not having all respect for all forms of life. Okay. And I'm not trying to tell people how to live their life or anything like that, but this is just really basically what it boils down to. You know what I mean? Is that, um, some people, like in the case of the girl who was saying that, oh, well, you have everything. Like I said, I didn't realize who my entourage was. There's people that and see, she doesn't understand. I don't think she understood that I didn't know who these people were. I don't have everything. I have struggled all my life, literally ducking and dodging, abuse. You know what I mean? In every situation, everywhere I have ever gone, it seems like, you know, um, so I don't feel like I have everything. You know what I mean? But she on that side, was some one of those people who thought, well, you have everything, so you don't. It doesn't really matter if we treat you like shit. That gives us the right to sit here and poke fun of you. That gives us the right to take credit for your work. Blah 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 blah. All the bullying that I dealt with at my that place over there is what went on, and no, I don't. You know what I mean? Like I said, I knew from the very get go that I had to take care of myself. I was the only person that I had. So for people to toss my world up in the air and think it was funny, it was like, I'm going to tell you right now, people can be cruel. The fact that I could be blacklisted after something like that was obviously their fault. And I'm going to tell you, it was their fucking fault. That's cruelty. Very cruel. You know what I mean? And then, of course, what led to after that was my family started acting weird. My family kind of disowned me without me knowing it when I went over there with my pictures taken out and all this other stuff. Um, yeah, I will say that the whole cloning thing, there is a lot of ignorance and not understanding that everything has emotions, and everybody has, you know if it's alive, we're here. We're not going to hurt anybody. You know what I mean? I think when people encounter something that they're not used to, they wonder, is it something that could hurt me, or is it someone who can hurt me, or whatever? You know what I mean? That's what goes through their mind. And I'm going to, I've never hurt anybody, even though God knows I've had the right to. I mean, you know what I mean? But, but yeah, I would say, people not understanding that, yeah, we do have emotions. Like I said, I cried when I saw Snoopy come home. You know, I still get a little upset when I see that cartoon. It's very cute. It's very sad. Okay. It's sad. Happy at the ending, but still, there's those moments where I get a little choked up. Okay. You know, I do. I mean, but in this situation where I felt as though I was dealing with um, the blacklisting, the targeting, the harassment, the what was legally would be defined as terrorism. Um, Whether they were aware of that or not, um, it's cruel. It's cruel. You know what I mean? Taking somebody's ability to survive and then, you know, mocking them, pulling them in for job interviews. It was just absolutely sad. But that's like I said, disregard for life forms. You know what I mean? I do. And even before I understood my origins, I was always the kind of person who did have respect for all life forms. That's just me. You know what I mean? And I do see that I am different from a lot of humans in that way. Am I a human? I believe that I am a human. I'm a human who has traits of a deity. You know what I mean? But I'm human. You know what I mean? I just recently got a little bit of a burn. I burned myself in the kitchen a couple of days ago. And before that, like a week before that, when I was shaving my legs, I actually cut my leg and I bled. Which, of course, I've cut my leg and I've gotten burns in the kitchen before. But my point is that my body responds to the same thing a human does. I eat, drink, sleep, you know, use the bathroom, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm human. I can cry. I can be upset. Things can hurt my feelings. I mean, I am, you know, I have all the emotions that humans do. Probably even 10 times more since I have a sense of morality. You know what I mean? So when I see injustice, it hurts me probably more than it hurts anyone else. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've dealt with cruelty all my life. And what happened over there was the biggest form of cruelty I could ever imagine. You could ever imagine, I should say. And then what followed that was just like, are you kidding me? What is wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? No, I didn't enjoy the whole situation. I didn't deserve it either. But anyway, what did I want to go over with um oh, okay. I did get a vision today of actually a message. It's probably really not that significant since I mentioned it before. But you know, people pretty much, like I said, do know about the Alamehu issue. So I really don't think it is important to make that announcement. People know. There's a lot of things that go on social media that I'm not necessarily hip to. You know what I mean? Like, there's conversations that take place, there's exchanges in certain groups that I'm not a member of, but it seems like every goddamn thing's about me, you know? But still, this is how I understand it. And this little thing that I mean, it probably wasn't meant to be such a big cabal, ended up really big. So a lot of people do know me and they know the situation. Like I said, I was blacklisted throughout the United States and possibly through other countries too. So therefore that kind of indicates that people know who I am. Okay. I have told you what happened to me. People can see it for themselves. Okay. I don't think I have anything to prove. But what I do need people to understand is that yes, I do have feelings. I do have emotions. I knew when I was a young kid dealing with the bullying in the schoolyard that showing emotions didn't do me any good because I will tell you, and I will say this again, I dealt with some very sick people. Okay, so like somebody did make me cry, because when I was really little, they did make me cry. Like when I get bullied, I kind of cry and whimper and stuff like that. These sick people enjoyed it. So I knew not to give these fucking monsters anything. I knew not to fucking let these people get off on my sorrow, which is what these people basically did. Okay, sickos. Okay, is what I'm dealing with when I was younger. Okay. And the same thing that goes on in malicious, toxic workplaces where, you know, I've seen women cry, like at work. I'm like, I cannot believe you're crying. If you understood what the dynamics of a workplace, the places that I've been in, you don't want to fucking cry because these people are fucking sick. They get off on it. Okay. So I don't play that. You know what I mean? What I do get, like I said, is I got angry about the whole issue. which I have a right to, because here I am at 53 years old. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into this. I got to get going. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I will be back with another video sometime later. I hope everyone takes care. Try to understand what I'm trying to say is what's important to me right now. My son's knocking at the door, so I got to wrap this video up. Take care. Good night.